and he raised his hand and he was ready to plunge the knife into his son. And a voice said, "Don't you plunge that knife into your son." I want you to notice what God said. Genesis chapter 22 and verse 12. And he said, "Do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Let me ask you, did the fear of God lead Abraham to be obedient to God, even to the point of being willing to sacrifice his own son? Absolutely. The fear of God has to do with obeying the commands of God. That's especially what I want us to gather from what we're talking about. Notice Job 1, 8 and 9. Let me ask you, was Job a pretty righteous man? God said so. Let's hear what God had to say about Job. Job 1, verses 8 and 9. Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? That there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man. One who what? Fears God and shuns evil." Let me ask you, if you fear God, are you going to shun evil? Absolutely. That's what it says. Fears God and shuns evil. Let me ask you, what is it that shows you what is evil and what is good? God's holy law shows you what is right and wrong, what is good and evil. And so it says here, God is saying, one who fears God and shuns evil. So Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for nothing? In other words, does he obey you free?" God said, "Yeah." And the devil says, "Well, let me try him." God says, go for it. And we all know that Job remained faithful to God. Notice a little later on in the book of Job, Job 28 and verse 28. Job 28 and verse 28. Listen carefully. The Bible is full of this idea. It says, "And to man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom." This is a synonymous parallelism. What is said in the first line is repeated in the second line in different words. "Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." In other words, the fear of the Lord is to depart from evil. Notice Proverbs 8 and verse 13. There it's explicit. It says in Proverbs 8 and verse 13, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth I hate." So what is the fear of the Lord? It is to what? To hate evil. And evil is the transgression of God's holy law. Proverbs 16 and verse 6. The same idea. It says there, "In mercy and truth, atonement is provided for iniquity. And by the fear of the Lord, one departs from evil." What does the fear of the Lord lead you to do? To depart from evil. Notice Proverbs 3 and verse 7. Proverbs 3 and verse 7. "Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord," and what? "And depart from evil." Notice Proverbs 14 and verse 12. Time and again, Scripture comes out with this idea. Proverbs 14 verse 12. "He who walks in his uprightness fears the Lord, but he who is perverse in his ways despises him." Let's notice, as we draw this to a close, some passages in the New Testament that describe what it means to fear God. Hebrews 11 and verse 7. You remember that God told Noah to build a boat? He told him to build an ark. Was that a reasonable thing? Folks, it had never rained. And God is telling Noah to build this huge transatlantic, like the Queen Elizabeth, on dry land.